Once upon a time, in the year 1889, in a place called Lynx Creek near Prescott, Arizona, there lived a little girl named Angeline Hoagland. She was just a toddler, only 2 years, 3 months, and 15 days old, when something mysterious happened to her. Angeline's parents, David and Catherine Hoagland, had moved to Lynx Creek from Texas in the mid-1880s, drawn by the promise of gold in the creek. Little Angeline was born in 1886, and her short life came to an end on January 15th, 1889. The cause of her death has been a topic of speculation. Some say she fell victim to a bobcat or a coyote, while others wonder if she drowned in the creek or succumbed to the freezing blizzard of the time. However, prevailing wisdom suggests that illness took away the joy and pride of the Hoagland family. Angeline was not laid to rest in a regular cemetery, but along the creek near the old Black Canyon Highway. It was much later that a headstone engraved with a heartfelt poem by the Arizona poet laureate Sharlot Hall was placed on her grave. The poem spoke of the family's grief and the hope of reuniting with Angeline in heaven. Over the years, a haunting tale emerged. Some claim to have seen the ghostly figure of a small child standing by Angeline's grave, while others spoke of the ground shaking if someone dared to step inside the iron fence surrounding the burial site. College students even camped out by the grave, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural. But there's a scientific explanation, according to Alan Brown, the author of Haunted Southwest. The stone of Angeline's tombstone is of a luminous variety, and when car headlights hit it, it glows brightly, creating an eerie effect. Unfortunately, the passage of time was unkind to Angeline's resting place. Vandals targeted her tombstone and the poetic epitaph. In response, the Sharlot Hall Museum of Prescott removed it for safekeeping. Yet on January 15th, 1993, exactly 104 years after Angeline's passing, the museum replaced the tombstone on her grave. Now, Angeline's lone resting place is surrounded by a black iron fence, adopted by the Prescott Valley Historical Society. Some say the fence rattles if you get too close, adding an extra layer of mystery to the tale of Angeline Hoagland, the little girl from Lynx Creek whose story still echoes through time. Before we jump into our second story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. Stay tuned for more updates. In 2012, something really strange happened at a crematorium. After a big farewell for a very heavy man, around 375 pounds, a husband and his wife were getting things ready for the cremation. They even planned to watch a movie while it happened. They put the man on this lifting thing and then into the hot chamber where the cremation happens. The door closed, sealing everything up. Then, out of nowhere, they heard a weird thump sound. At first, they didn't think much of it, but then more thumps came and they started to worry. The man's body inside was not acting normal. Usually during cremation, parts move a bit because of the heat. But this was different. His arms and legs were moving like crazy, hitting the windows and making fists. It was like he was in pain, trying to get out. The couple got scared, thinking maybe there was some mistake, like maybe the man still had a pacemaker inside. But his organs were removed, so that couldn't be it. They got up, went to the chamber, and looked through the window. What they saw was like a horror movie. The man, who was supposed to be lifeless, was screaming and moving around for about 20 seconds. It didn't make any sense. The couple felt frozen, not able to understand what was happening. It was like the man was coming back to life in a really scary way. The room filled with strange noises, groans and screams mixed with the heat of the cremation. It was a moment where things went from sad to spooky, and the couple couldn't believe their eyes. The line between life and death got all blurry, leaving them in a weird, suspenseful situation. Once, when I was 21, I got a job at a cemetery. People had been sneaking in to do strange rituals, so they hired me to patrol and keep an eye on things. It was just a part-time gig for me, and I didn't have anything to protect myself. They gave me a barcode scanner and told me to drive through the huge cemetery every hour. There were 3 parts: the new section, the historic area, and the famous part where celebrities were buried. The first time I did the patrol, it was really dark. As I was driving along a curved road, my headlights lit up something strange. I saw what looked like a pair of legs walking across the path, but it only went up to the knees. There were shoes, pants, and knees, and then nothing. I stopped the car and stared as these legs crossed just 10 feet in front of me. Feeling a bit freaked out, I put the car in reverse and did the longest K-turn of my life. I didn't waste any time getting back to the parking lot. After that night, I never did the patrol again. In fact, I broke the barcode scanner so I wouldn't have to do it. That mysterious pair of legs was enough to make me say nope and avoid that creepy experience. One afternoon, I and my co-worker were walking around the cemetery with a trash bag, picking up litter. We reached an area with many mausoleums and took a lane around a corner beside one of them. As we turned, we saw an older man, maybe in his late 60s or early 70s, standing against the mausoleum. He was facing a group of graves nearby. 2 things were strange about him. First, his clothes seemed a bit old-fashioned for the warm weather: a corduroy jacket, long pants, and a newsboy-type cap. Second, he was sipping from a ceramic coffee mug, not a thermos or a cup with a lid. We waved at him, and he waved back. But as we walked a few feet away, the other girl said it was a bit weird. We looked back, and he was gone. We even went back a bit to see if he went around the mausoleum, but he had vanished. A couple of days later, we mentioned the old man to one of the regular workers when we showed up for work. The groundskeeper smiled and asked, "Did he have a coffee mug?" We confirmed, and he explained that it was their ghost. He said the ghost is always seen in that spot, looking at a family plot, and always has a coffee mug. The grave belonged to a husband and wife and their 2 daughters. The husband passed away in the early 70s, and the wife and daughters a couple of decades before, all on the exact same date. The groundskeeper thought he might be the dad visiting his family's graves. He told us that people only see him for a few seconds, and then he disappears. If you want to see more of the most frightening horror videos, check out our previous videos and subscribe to be notified of new, terrifying experiences. Until we meet again, be cautious of the supernatural and be careful when navigating through dark and eerie situations.